Today's December 5th, 2011. My name is Joe Bruckner. I'm a volunteer at the Atlanta History Center. And with me today is also Tony Hilliard, who is a volunteer at the History Center. And we're honored to have with us Mr. James Lester Smith from Atlanta. And Mr. Smith is a World War II veteran, and he's agreed to come in here and tell us his story in connection with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. The Atlanta History Center, which is where we are today, is a partner with the Library of Congress. And Mr. Smith, we want to thank you for coming down here today to tell us about your experiences. Would you give us your complete name and date of birth?
James L. Smith, May the 1920.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
About my what?
Your upbringing, just your family when you were born, and a little bit about your early life before you went into the military.
Well, I was born, 14 years difference between me and my brother, but it was two died in between. They buried at Oakland Cemetery.
Oh.
And I had two brothers and two sisters alive, and one brother and one sister that died young.
Okay.
Real young. And my mother was 49 when I was born.
Wow. When did you go into the military?
Where'd I go?
When?
They say January the 27th.
1940.
1942.
Okay. Did you have any relatives that had served in the military before you went in?
No.
Okay.
They was old, lots older than me.
Yeah, okay. Where were you when Pearl Harbor was attacked?
I was in Little 5 Points listening to the football game, the Bears and Giants. Wyatt Tittle was playing for the Giants.
What was the reaction of people? Did they interrupt the game to announce that Pearl Harbor was attacked?
Well, there was.
Did they interrupt the game on the radio to say that Pearl Harbor was attacked?
Yeah, they broke into it, yeah.
What was the reaction of people when they heard that?
Well, I don't know. I said, I'm going to service. And I went.
So you went and joined the service then?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was funny. I went down to Macon, Georgia. They sent me home. I spent all my money, and I thought they never would call me back. They had so many going in that they couldn't handle them.
Okay. And did they eventually call you back?
Yeah, they finally called.
Okay. And what branch of the military did you join?
The Navy.
Okay. How did your mother feel about you joining up?
Oh, it didn't bother her much.
Yeah.
She knew I was going.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about your training.
I had to help my mother. That's one reason I didn't go in early as I did, because my daddy died when three of us kids kept him. And then at the draft board, they gave me an extension until the war started.
Oh, okay.
Draft board did.
Oh.
So we had to give 50% of everything we made, like us kids that lived at home.
Oh, really? Wow.
It was a good thing, too.
You learned how to work hard, didn't you?
Yeah. No, it turned you how to take care of your money.
Oh, okay. Talk a little bit about your training in the Navy, where you went and what you were being trained to do.
I went to Norfolk, and they give us a lot of exercise and sit there a while, and then they sent me to Little Creek, Virginia, for gun training and all kind of big guns. And then there wasn't but a few days we was on a ship, and they had World War II, World War I guns on there, and then they give us a bunch of machine guns, and they was in Greece from World War I. We had to put them together and put the things together. I mean, mount them and everything.
Wow.
And then we went to Curacao, Aruba, and picked up some oil. And then we come back and went to Baytown, Texas, and Goose Creek, and Galveston, and picked up some more oil. And then we coming back, we got hit on the ship June the 15th, 42. They said they were torpedoes, but it turned out to be mines. And then our ship tried to pull us in, Corvette, and they lost 23 out of 31. And then they told us to Norfolk and unload all our stuff, and then they told us to Baltimore to clean it out, and then we got to come home. And I married while I was home, and then I went back, I went back on the 4th of July, and I called the ship that night. I forgot which one it was. U.S. Thomas Stone. And then we loaded up and went to England. And then we went to Liverpool. Went to Ireland and then Liverpool. And then we come back to the United States and loaded up again and went to Liverpool. Then we come back and load again and went to Swansea, Wales. And then they took all our food off and give us stuff to get back to the United States, and then they changed the thing, and then we went to North Africa, the invasion of North Africa, Iran. That was November the 8th of 42. Okay. And we stayed there for about 3 or 4 days, and then we went back to England and loaded up and went to I forgot the name of that place. Anyway, a little time, but we got hit, they say. We got hit on torpedo, but they say it was a Dove torpedo. The French had worked, done something on it.
And where did this happen? Where did this happen? What part of the world were you when that they said you got?
It was in North Africa,
North Africa. Okay.
I mistake.
Well, that's good enough. I was just curious about what part of the.
We caught hell there. They come over and shot machine guns, and I got a little scrap there from where the machine guns come over airplanes. And then I was deaf for about 3 days from us shooting. And I went to the doctor out there. It was a field doctor, and the people had jungle rot and all that. And that's right. And I said, where's the dentist? I didn't want to put it in my ear. And so I went to the dentist while I was there. But I wish I needed to do something about my ears then.
Yeah.
Then we come back and to Swansea, Wales, loaded up English tanks to fight Rommel. And went to Alexander, Egypt, and unloaded. Played golf while I was there.
Yeah, talk about that. Talk about your time in Egypt and what your observation was of Egypt as a country.
What?
Talk about your time in Egypt and what you observed and what you saw and
Well,
about playing golf and.
I saw streets there that were bigger than ours. They had trees in the middle, and they had big wide streets. And then the rest of them were so narrow they'd run between two buildings and just room for one car to go through. It was a funny situation. They either had a main street or they had little bitty streets. It wasn't but one way. I wish I'd had something to ride and looked around, but
Yeah.
I didn't.
Were you in Alexandria? Were you in Alexandria, Egypt?
Yeah, Egypt, yeah.
Talk about your experience playing golf.
About what?
Talk about your experience of playing golf in Egypt.
His lieutenant he went over his country club and got a match, and he wanted to, if anybody wanted to play, and we played, and I don't think it much on the game, about a dime a hole, but we lost every hole. We were playing the pro, but they knew the golf course.
Did you have any chance to deal with the people in Egypt?
Oh yeah.
Talk about that some.
Well, I bought a suitcase, leather, and they wanted, I had a watch they give me when I left Woolworths, and I sold it. I didn't have no money, and so I sold it and made a way to spend money. And then one day I worked on the ship for an hour and made $10. I wasn't making but $21 a month.
Okay.
And I had worked on the merchant ship so they could go on Liberty for an hour. I got $10. You didn't, and then we left Egypt. I've gone 18 months. And then we went up to, they checked it out. We couldn't go to Russia because something was wrong with the ship. Then we come home, United States, and then they sent me to gunnery school at Little Creek, Virginia. It was on a 5-inch 38 because before we didn't have big guns all there. And then we went down there and it was a new gun, and then
Were these big guns?
yeah, it was a new 5-inch 38.
Okay.
I went down there and learned how to use it. Then I went to New Orleans. I figured if I went to New Orleans, I wouldn't get back in the Atlantic, but I did. Went back to England, and then one day I was supposed to go to Mississippi and be a gun instructor, but somebody during the night, they changed it, and they sent us to Boston and got on the LST.
Oh.
Well, we went to Boston and stayed there and watched the LST be built. Stayed in a little bitty room outside the shipyard and watched them build the ship. They called it damage control. And watched it, we learned supposed to know something about everything if something happens. And then we loaded up with 3.2 beer, and we had to guard that all the way over to the Pacific.
Now, were you on an LST now?
Yeah.
What type of ship were you on prior to the LST?
I was on merchant ship.
Merchant ships, okay. And that's what you were on when you were hit the mine?
Yeah.
And before we go further, tell us a little bit more about that. Where it was when you hit the mine?
Nowhere what?
When you hit the mine, you know, your ship was hit by a mine. You went over a mine. Talk a little bit about that experience and where it was and what went on.
It was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I done put on my life jacket, and I thought we were safe. We was using binoculars, watching them swim over on the Virginia beach. And then when we went down, we was eating, and that ship got hit over there, and then it wasn't long, the one on that side got hit. We was already called the general quarters, and then when we got hit, we just sat out there, but a plate spaghetti went up to the ceiling when we got hit. We was eating spaghetti, and it went to the ceiling. It was hit on the rear, and then merchant ships were dangerous at the last because they put everything on there. They put cans of gasoline for airplanes because they wanted somebody to get something over. And so they put everything. They didn't put just one thing like they did for a while. If you carried tanks, you carried gasoline. And that was pretty dangerous because it was down where our ammunition was.
Quite a few of those ships got hit, and quite a few of those merchant ships got sunk, didn't they?
Well, they figured 1 or 3 and one in North Africa. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad during the invasion as it was when we went back over there. But now where Patton went in, it was they had it pretty rough over there.
Yeah.
They had it pretty rough.
Just to be sure we get this on the DVD, when you hit the mine, you were off the coast of Virginia, right? Around Hampton Roads in that area?
Watching them swim. Watching them swim.
Yeah, I can understand.
With binoculars, yeah. Yeah, it was kind of funny. You felt safe when you see new people on the beach.
Yeah.
And then wasn't long before that ship got hit and that ship got hit.
Did you say that some of the
bodies were washed and they barely been dug North Carolina?
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can go back when you were on the LST and you had left Africa. Continue with your experiences.
Well, we first went and moved some troops. Maricale Division, and then we went and gave some training for invasion. But the funny thing, they had 3 Indians over there while we were giving training. They'd get off and go up and bring back some Japanese. I guess they shot some. I always thought they ought to have a troop of just real Indians over there.
Huh.
it was a different world where they lived. They could go get them.
Now, these are American Indians?
Huh?
American Indians?
Yeah,
Oh, huh.
yeah, American Indian.
Interesting.
I made one as far as I know, I made the first invasion and the last one.
And the invasion, which invasion?
I made the invasion in Boo-Jay, I thought, Boo-Jay.
Okay.
And when we went there, it was kind of scared because they just went in there and hit the oil tanks and we went in at 5 o'clock in the morning and it was like daylight, but it wasn't, we didn't have no problem. We got troops off there. Anyway, and that to you, it was kind of funny. It wasn't ever, you bump all the time, flat bottom. But I went a lot of places, went to Australia too while I was there.
Talk about that.
Well, I enjoyed Australia. I spent I guess we spent about 3 days there. Something we had to pick up and get the ship fixed, and then we went to another place there. I can't think of the name of it. People go there now on vacation, but
Did you go to New Guinea?
Did
you go to New Guinea? New Guinea?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah, I went all over the Pacific area.
Okay. So you went to Australia, New Guinea. Did you go to New Zealand?
To what?
New Zealand?
Yeah.
Okay.
And another place before we got to New Zealand. We played baseball there that one day. And eat oysters. We get oysters out of the water. We had none. Fresh oysters. Played ball there. I enjoyed the Pacific. I couldn't figure out what the hell they were fighting for. I'd have given the whole thing. Yeah, I didn't see that. It's interesting, I imagine now, but it wasn't. I couldn't figure out what the heck they were fighting over there for. I'd have given it to them.
What was your job on the LST? What were you responsible for doing on the LST when you were out to sea?
It was guns. I was on the machine gun most of the time.
Okay.
You couldn't have many big guns on that ship because they were too small.
Mm-hmm.
But they had lots of machine guns on there. Not machine gun, what they call them? What machine guns are? Regular guns.
The
Machine
3-inch
gun?
50?
Yeah.
What were some of your more interesting experiences on the LST when you were out at sea? Some things that happened that you particularly remember, either during the invasion or after?
We had to guard the vehicle went up, and when we got there, we thought it was all there. And then when they got down taking it off, we found out somebody done got in there and got quite a bit of it. It was 3-2 beer. It wasn't strong.
Yeah.
3-2 beer. And I got climbed up a tree while I was in some place and got a coconut.
Huh.
We had climbers,
Oh.
telephone climbers,
Yeah.
and went up that tree.
Huh.
We had lots of stuff that you needed when you went in an invasion. But only mistake I made, I should have went to seen the sign, but I wanted to get home. And I made a mistake, because if I'd have went to see the sign, I'd have got home quicker.
Now, why is that?
Well, they had so darn many people down there where I was. It takes a long time to get them off. And they had a typhoon while we was there, and sleeping in a tent. And you had to put your shoes up on your bed or they'd wash away. That's the first time I'd ever been on a typhoon.
Talk about that a little bit, what the experience was like.
It was lots of darn rain. Everything was muddy. You put your feet in the ground, it'd be soft. I've read about them, but I'd never been in one. And they have it quite often over there in Manila.
Okay, in the Philippines, all right.
Yeah. I enjoyed it over there. I mean, but I was in the Navy then. Merchant ships, you wasn't in the Navy, I don't think. We didn't. Lots of times we didn't have an officer. We'd have somebody in World War II that was a boatman or something
Oh, okay.
on oil tankers.
Huh.
But we, on our ship when we got hit, we had a World War I guy that was the head of the thing, but the name was different. I forgot what his rank was, but they were different than they did now. Commander or I forgot what it was. But anyway, when our ship got hit, they got him off pretty quick.
Is that when you got hit with a mine, or when you got hit?
Well, got hit with a mine.
Okay.
They took him off pretty quick.
Yeah. How often did, on the merchant ship or on the LST, how often did you have enemy contact, whether it was a mine or, how often did you have enemy contact? In other words, a Japanese plane shooting at you, or a mine or another ship? Or
LST, we didn't have much problem with LST. It was toward the end of the war, but we moved a lot of troops around, and so I guess they kept going till they got them when we dropped them off.
Yeah. So you had more enemy contact when you were on the merchant ship, right? You had more contact when you were on the...
Oh, yeah. It was, merchant ship was real nice. I mean, food, you order what you wanted to, had any breakfast you wanted. Had 2 choices of meat every night.
Wow.
And they brought it to you. You didn't have to go get it.
Wow.
Had somebody waiting on you. And then they'd pick up a bunch of stuff to eat that night. There's a bunch of guys that they'd eat it all up before 8 o'clock.
Well, what was the morale like on the merchant ships, typically, among the troops?
It was pretty good, I thought, but it was pretty dangerous. Lots of guys went over the hill.
Oh, talk about that a little bit.
Well, it was so dangerous. Some of them got hit 5 or 6 times. When they come get back to the United States, they'd take off for a while. And then they sent me down to DeLand, Florida, to a rest camp down there.
Oh.
They would stay down there, I guess about 3 weeks. There was a big hotel that had a golf course over there and we could play golf.
Huh.
Gain weight. They didn't have muscle or nothing. They had a waitress that take care of your table, and that's where they mustered you. If that the lady had 8 or 10, whatever she had waiting on. That's where the muster was. And one of them wasn't there. They would. She couldn't report it.
Oh, okay.
One didn't show up.
Huh.
My wife come down there and stayed a week, and I'd have to go back and eat breakfast, storage muster every day. All 3 meals I'd have to go muster. That's where they kept contact with her.
Yeah. Well, that must have been a nice 3 weeks. That must have been a nice 3 weeks.
Oh, it was. It went, I forgot the name of the spring, but we would go down there swimming every day at the lake.
Huh.
It's down in Ponce Lynn, something,
Okay.
but I forgot what it was. It's a long time ago. It was a college down there. I forgot. Anyway, they had lots of college boys down there.
Yeah, okay.
I enjoyed playing golf there, though. There's one lady that played there. Anyway, she married a fellow that I knew, and she was doing. Her daddy won the golf course, but she won lots of big tournaments.
Oh, really?
Run every tournament at Druid Hills
Good gosh.
for women.
Wow.
But her daddy was pro at that golf.
Oh, okay. Where did they send you after your 3 weeks in Florida?
Where did what?
Where did they send you after your 3 weeks in Florida?
That's when I went back to Norfolk. I mean, New Orleans, and that's
Oh.
when they sent me to Boston.
Oh, okay.
Stood
I
around
got
about a week, and then went over and watched to build a ship.
Okay.
It took quite a while. They call it damage control,
Yeah.
so you would know something about the ship,
Yeah.
how it operated.
Where were you when you heard that we had dropped the bombs on Japan that caused them to surrender?
I was in New Guinea.
Talk about that, how you heard about it, and what the feeling was among all your shipmates when they heard that.
Well, they were all celebrating, but still, they still thought the war wasn't over then. I mean, the ones on the ship did, but then a few days later they found out that it was that the war was over, and they were going up at a time. And then I got off. The one that had so much time overseas got first to come back if you had so many points. And I had some I could give somebody. And I stayed there for about 3 or 4 weeks waiting to get to come home.
Okay.
And then I listened to coming back. I got on the hospital ship finally, and we watched Detroit. Detroit was played in the World Series. We could listen to it.
Oh.
And a guy I knew very well, Paul Richards, he was the catcher. I knew him when he played with a lot of Crackers there.
Yeah.
And he was, so we enjoyed listening to that coming by.
You mentioned that you had some contact with Bob Feller.
Contact with what?
Bob Feller, the baseball player.
Yeah.
You mentioned, talk about that, please.
At 5:30 in the morning, Bob Feller and a bunch of them would give us exercise. And he talked to us, but I really didn't know who he was till later on.
Huh.
He was one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
Sure.
He's still living.
Yeah.
He's about 93 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question about when you were on the LST, you were taking troops to combat.
Yeah.
Talk about the morale of those troops and what you observed when you would see the soldiers that you were taking into combat. Just that.
Well, we figured it, but they fuss about taking practice. You know, we'd have practice runs from just like in base. They'd have to do that, but it would be interesting watching them do that in base.
Yeah.
And then we had then sometimes they'd have another little ship, I forgot it, LCI thing, and they would get on it and make the landing while we was making it with the LST. That's what Kennedy was on,
Oh, okay.
president.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was on one of them. I forgot what. It wasn't LST.
He was on a PT boat, I think.
Yeah. 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 He was in the Pacific. But I tell you what, it was hot there.
Really?
When we was going over, they wouldn't let us work but a half a day. We'd have to get up early and eat and go out and work on the deck because it was so hot. That's when you passed the equator.
Yeah.
That's the first time I knew that. Had never heard nothing about the equator.
Yeah.
They give us something on it, some kind of thing, one way.
What was your favorite country that you visited when you were in the Navy? Because you saw it.
I like Swansea whales.
Okay.
They were different. They were a little different there, but I liked it there.
And how were they different? How were they different?
Well, I really don't know. They spoke different, and they were, I forgot what they called them. Let's see. They had 3 different sections in England.
Yeah.
Ireland and all of them, but I forgot what.
Scotland, Wales.
Wales, yeah. I tell you what, they bombed the hell out of that place because it was bad. They had buildings, they'd bomb a whole block, there wouldn't be nothing there.
Really?
Germans
Yeah.
they tore that place up.
Huh.
I went to 2 places, but I don't remember one of them names there. But most of the stuff we loaded there was for the British.
Was that Belfast?
Huh?
Did you go to Belfast?
Yeah,
Yeah. In Ireland?
yeah.
Is that where you were loading a lot of
That's
these?
where it first went in, but I never will forget it. Before we could go ashore, they read us all this stuff, and then they give us a sheet of paper, and we couldn't talk religion or politics.
Okay.
And it had to be in by 11 o'clock. When I was in, what do they call that thing? Down in, on the LST, where you go from the United States down there.
Panama Canal?
Yeah, I was down there and they put me on the MP. Anyway, everybody had to be in at certain time, and and so we got to stay out late and eat. We got to go to restaurants and things, so we stayed a long time, had a better time than they did after we went to bed. It had advantages of LSTs. I mean, them being on duty,
Yeah.
MP.
Well, you've really seen the world.
Huh?
You have really seen the world, haven't you?
Yeah. Enjoyed it. I got to, when we come back, we went in the port, one name is California, 78 miles from Los Angeles. I didn't know they had mountains in California then. And then we come back and rode a train for 5 days to New Orleans. And all that sun and everything coming through. When we got to, when we got to New Orleans, no, I was going to Jacksonville. We went to New Orleans, stopped there one night on the train. Everybody went to the YMCA and take a bath. It was so dirty. I'd get off in somewhere in Mexico, New Mexico or something, and they went out and get something to drink, and they bought, I forgot what, they didn't have nothing but, I forgot the name of it, sweet liquor.
Tequila? Tequila?
No, it was sweet, real sweet. That's all they had there during the war.
Huh.
Was coming through it. It make you. I didn't drink but one drink of it. It tasted, didn't taste good. I know the name of it, but I can't think of it. But it was real sweet.
Huh.
Real sweet.
Huh. When were you discharged from the Navy?
Oh, I was discharged October the 30th, I guess. It was Halloween.
Okay.
I got home that night, Halloween.
And that was 1945? That was 1945?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got home Halloween night. Because there were people out there Halloween, and this lady that my wife lived with, I put on them airplane glasses, and I walked up there and they hollered. They didn't know who it was.
What did they do when they found out it was you?
Oh yeah, they killed me. We lived with them for about 3 or 4 months. Couldn't find a house to live in.
Yeah.
Couldn't find one. We lived with them about 3 or 4 months. Finally found the house.
I would like you to look at your DD 214, your separation papers, and would you read or tell us the ships that you were on? I just want to be sure we get all the ships on here that you served on, and you've got them listed here.
What trip? Man, let's go.
I just want to be sure that we identify all the ships that you served on, and I know you've got some 4 of them listed here on your separation papers. And I want you to just read those so we get them on the tape.
USS Augusta oil tanker, U.S. Thomas Stone, merchant ship, out of California, and then P.R. Gibraltar. I was on it, and then that last ship I was on was LSTs.
Okay. And this says LST 1016.
Uh,
That says USS LST 1016, right?
yeah, 1016.
Okay.
But it was the last ship I was on.
Okay. Are there any more ships that you were on that aren't listed here?
That's enough there.
That is enough.
But I tell you what about the armed guard at first. About the armed guard at first, when you get back, you didn't have time left to go to town. You'd be going back out. I got in one time and went back out there and got in it one afternoon and I mean, one day about dinner time, we was gone that afternoon. They had a place waiting on you. So you didn't fool around waiting. Except on the LST, I had to wait a long time.
Have you kept up with any of your former shipmates?
No, the biggest mistake I made. It would be great in this day and time if you could internet, but
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Talk a little bit about what you did after you left the military, where you worked and your family.
When I come out, I went to work for the fire department in Atlanta. I had 3 years, about 4 years seniority, and I had to make 25, and I made 35. And then the wine caught fire. December the 7th of 46. They lost 119 people there.
Tell us a little bit about that, because that's a very historical incident, not just for Atlanta but for the country. And talk about what you observed that day.
Well, the fire was seemed to be on the second floor. I went in on the second help call, and it seemed to be on the second floor, and we kept going up, and then one time we passed the fire somehow and got some people that had to bring them down. You couldn't see nothing, no lights or nothing. And then a couple of us carried them, or somebody like that, I forgot, like that, carried them down to where they could, down a few stairs where they could be on their own. It had a wire elevator in there, and it had stairs going around it, and no blockage of anything. And then it was just like a chimney. Half of them suffocated.
Huh.
And they were 4-H, lots of 4-H was having a convention here that night, kids. And Governor lost his daughter there, Governor Griffin. And a lot of people there shopping. Small towns didn't have no shopping, Walmart or nothing.
Yeah.
They didn't have nothing. They come to town once a year and get their Christmas.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. We worked till they let us go home, I guess, about 12 o'clock. And then when I got home, I had to come back at 5.
Wow.
Well, got to went home to take a bath.
Yeah.
It was cold that night, and we'd had, they had fires all over Atlanta that night. The most fires I ever seen.
Oh,
Some of them been working 12 hours that night.
gee.
Working, not, they had laid out quite a bit that day. we had 3 runs at night before the wine cart. And it was a bad night, I know that.
Boy. I guess that's something you'll never forget.
Yeah. There was one guy worked with us. He was building his house. He had a lot of money on him, and he'd sleep. He'd walk in his sleep, and he'd put his clothes on the fire apparatus, and he'd come back to the engine house, and all his stuff was gone. He called the police, and somebody stole his stuff. And when the airline got back, they found his clothes up there on the land. He was Chief Jenkins' brother, chief of the police.
Yeah. Well, before we finish, tell us a little bit about your family, children, and
My wife.
family, children, grandchildren, great-grand.
family.
Yeah.
I'm a daughter, 65 in September this year, and I have a boy, 54. My daughter lives in Decatur, and my boy lives in Fort Worth, Texas. I didn't tell him but one thing when he got out of school: get your job, you don't like it, quit.
Yeah.
He's been there 32 years, 32 years, so I guess he likes it.
I guess so. And who did you work for after you left? I know you were with the fire department. Then who did you work with prior to your retirement?
After I left, well, I worked some, but I always done could paint or something like that. I used to do a lot of painting
Oh, okay.
and take care of my house. But my sister had cancer, and I had to take care of her
Okay.
for quite a while.
Yeah.
She died with it.
No.
He tried to care to what made me mad, I cared to the Crawford Lawn, to the doctor. They get her blood, and they were having a hard time, and then I go across the street to, they put her in the hospital, and go across the street to the emergency room, and get her blood, and it was hard because the veins had about collapsed. They get up to the room, and they get it in a raised cane with her because I didn't think that was right.
Yeah.
Within a half a block, it
Yeah.
has to get blood 3 times. Looks
Yeah.
like somebody could communicate with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have really had an interesting life, and you're still having an interesting life. You have really had an interesting life. You've traveled a lot of places.
Oh, yeah.
Before we finish, is there anything else you would like to say that will be part of your story that's going to be recorded? Any experience you want to talk about, or any message you want to give to people who see this video?
I enjoyed my life. The funniest thing, I was down in Daytona, 1956. I was going fishing, but I stopped down there and picked up a pipe, and these 2 girls said, "Where is he?" I said, "Who in the hell you? Where is who?" Said, "Elvis." I said, "I don't know who Elvis is." So I went back to my room and told my wife and daughter, and they jumped up. I didn't know who he was. And about 2 o'clock, he went across the street eating, and he come across the street, and I ain't nothing like a hound dog. His manager was staying next door. We played catch out there that day.
Gosh.
but I'd never heard of it. I got a picture with my daughter
Really?
with him,
Huh.
and he was a real nice young fella.
Yeah, that's when Freddie, when he first started out.
Yeah, it was 1956.
Wow.
He was very interesting. I enjoyed him.
How about that?
And I saw Frank Sinatra when he first started.
Really?
In the Paramount Theater.
Gosh.
That was in 42, yeah. Yeah, I was staying at Piedmont Hotel, and these girls was looked like about a block long, going to his first thing, and they were wearing bobby socks at the Piedmont Theater.
How about that?
Not Piedmont. Paramount.
Paramount Theater.
Paramount, yeah. Theater. He wasn't nothing then. He wasn't, I mean, he was just starting out.
Yeah.
Them girls wore bobby socks. And forget that.
Well, Tony, you have any questions?
I do.
Well, we really appreciate you coming down here and telling us your story. It's a fascinating story, the places you lived and the experiences you had, and we really want to thank you for your service in the Navy. I mean, you put your life on the line a lot of days.
I enjoyed it because I had never been nowhere.
Well, you have now.
Yeah. Yeah, I had never been nowhere. I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you again very much. And
But I tell you, the Merchant Marine for moving in Gibraltar, I think I done got up to $36 a month. They made $125 going in Gibraltar. $125 for landing in Oran. And 120, that was extra money, 125 coming out.
Good
Me
gosh.
making $36 a month.
that's big money back then, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I made a little money on the ship. Sometimes I'd help them in the port, paint over the side. And that's paint ship. But when you wasn't making, I wasn't making, for a while I wasn't making, but 700, no, 1450, because the rest was for insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance,
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't making much money. But you learn a way where you could work.
Yeah.
On merchant ships, you could pick up a little.
Well, thank you again for your service, and thank you for coming down here and
Okay.
sharing your story.